Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce lab by Ecomcy, the place of anything related to Amazon FBA, private label, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, your host, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you another special guest. His name is Britton, and he's the founder and CEO of Perci.ai, which is one of the top, if not the top, software solution in the Amazon space when it comes to helping you do listing optimization by using AI. And that's going to be our conversation today. We're going to be talking about what is going on with the AI, how you can use tools such as Percy to do your full listing optimization on Amazon, and maybe some of the new things Percy is going to be launching to the market. That I'm pretty sure once you hear them, it's going to make you want to jump and give a try to Percy. So, Britton, it's a pleasure to have you on board, bro. So, how you been?
Oh, thank you very
How's
much,
everything?
Enzo. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thank you, thank you. I know we saw each other maybe, yeah, over 1 month ago in China. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
for the Canton Fair. Yeah,
So it was very good to finally see you in person. I know we've been, working together before that, but finally to see you in person and get to know you. I have some fun as well. It was very nice.
it
And,
was a great time.
yeah, for sure. I think I was surprised about the experience I had in China. I didn't expect to have so much fun.
It's true.
And
Yeah, like especially I was around some of the other parts of China on that trip as well, and the Guangzhou Shenzhen area is such a different vibe than the
yeah.
rest of China. I mean, it's really international. Lots of folks coming and going from outside the
Mhm.
borders. So
Yeah.
it's a really good time down there.
Yeah, yeah, very good. So, and I know since you've been in the podcast, but I think like over 1 year ago, so it's been a long time, and I know Percy has changed a lot since then. So, give us an overview of what has happened over this long time with Percy, some of the newest things you guys have under the sleeve, and then of course we can jump into the topic about what is going on with AI and everything related to software solutions for listing optimization. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay, I'll try and give a really quick
Yeah.
summary. So, um, if you've never heard of Percy, Percy is an AI Amazon listings generator. Um, so it writes and optimizes all the copy for your listing, your title, bullets, description, backend keywords. Um, that's the first thing that we ever did. We started doing that about 2 years ago. Um, and slowly, well, for I don't know, it feels slow to me, but maybe it's fast. We've basically been doing more and more and more to help people with their listings. So the first thing we did was we didn't even used to find your keywords when we started.
Hmm.
About a year ago, we added keyword research and keyword optimization. So the second step was then we could help you find your keywords, your Amazon keywords, not Google keywords. Those are two different
Hmm.
things. Um, we've been slowly upgrading that tool as well. It's just come out of beta now. It's called Keyword Wizard. So this is the second big chunk. First, we generated your listings. Now we also use AI to find all the keywords you need for your Amazon listing. It's
Oh.
sort of like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout. You know, you use those to do reverse
Hmm.
ASIN searches or root keyword searches, but you still have to do all that work manually of
Sure.
looking through
Mm.
for brands or misspellings or irrelevant keywords. Percy does all that for you. So now
Nice.
you can get on there and in about a minute, you can get all of your keywords. And then in another minute, you've got your fully optimized listing ready to go. Um, in the last 6 months, I'll just quickly run through what we've started to release here.
Sure.
Uh, we had Keyword Wizard that only worked for the U.S. market. We've
Hmm.
just added all the international keywords to that as
Mm.
well. So now you can search any Amazon market you want. You can get keywords for it.
Oh.
We've added bulk listing generation. So um, depending on if you're a small seller or if you don't list a lot of things, this might not be that exciting for you. But if you're an agency or a big seller that has, you know, 100+ listings to
Exactly.
worry about,
Mhm.
um, this bulk listings thing is really cool. So the first step is we can find all of your keywords for your all your listings in one go. Use a spreadsheets. So basically, you put in each row is a different product listing. You can
Yeah.
choose your SEO strategy, your search terms, all that. You'll get all of your keywords back at one time, and then you can generate all of your listings optimized in one spreadsheet. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
The last thing I'll mention that just came out, it's in beta now. It came out about 3 weeks ago. Is A+ content.
Okay.
So we had a lot of folks who loved the listings that we generated,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, "Hey, can you also do the A+ content? There's a lot of
Yeah.
writing that we need to do
Yeah.
there. There's
I
alt
know from
text that we need to
experience.
do." Yeah, you know how much time that takes. And so we said, well, we already have all the product details. We have all the information we need. So we went in and looked at every module that you could need to write. How can we help people write that with the information we have? So we've just released that. It's in beta now. It's free to use. And that's really cool. So it takes any module you need to write. You can just click the module you want, add a simple topic, like it could be 3 words, hit generate, and in 10 seconds, you've got your A+ content there ready to go.
Wow.
So that's really cool. The feature velocity that we've been at in the last couple of months is really exciting. So we're going to keep shipping new things. Probably once a month, there's going to be a really exciting new tool. Like I think Walmart Generator is probably going to be out in maybe
Wow.
3 or 4
That's hot.
weeks.
Good.
Yeah. So pretty soon, if you have a saved Amazon listing in Perci, you can load it into the Walmart listing generator, and in 1 or 2 clicks, turn your Amazon listing into a Walmart listing, which is pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you definitely brought a lot of things under the sleeve today.
Yeah. So sorry, that's a lot to tell you about, but yeah,
I
we've been
love it.
really busy.
That's good, man. I think the fact that you guys focus so much on the keyword research is very smart. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think AI is amazing, and of course, it's an amazing technology that most people should be leveraging. But I think where most people drop the ball is that they don't know how to actually find the right keywords, because you could have the best AI, but if you get the wrong input, right, the output is not gonna be good, right? And I love the fact that you actually took care of the whole process from A to Z, because it's true, like most solutions out there, they could potentially do a listing, but if you need to figure out the keyword side. And now the fact that with a couple of buttons you can do it, first of all, is about the time that you save, and the second of all is the efficiency in terms of the outcome. So very good on that. The A plus, that's game changer. Like A plus, we spend so much time sometimes figuring out how to do the text on that, and if at that couple of seconds you can now do it, is great. And I think the other one that I love, which I'm sure people, especially the ones listening this podcast that we have a lot they sell in Europe, are gonna benefit from, is the international language, right? Like a lot of the tools you essentially find nowadays is only focusing on the US, which again makes sense. The US is the biggest market, but starting to see some of the tools such as Percy supporting those international markets, I think it's a great step forward. Now let's talk about a little bit about how solutions such as Percy have been shifting basically the workflow and also the efficiency overall of having an Amazon store. Because I'm sure like people is aware that before, especially 2 years ago, this was a process that was super time consuming. That's very expensive to do. And most of the time you wouldn't even do a good job overall, because you didn't have the skills to be a proper copywriter or know how to position the keywords. So what are some of the biggest things you see a person bringing to the ecosystem now that is making the life so much easier for Amazon sellers? Like what are some of the feedback you're getting from your clients? Yeah.
I think there's a couple of parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's feedback that we get about Percy specifically, which often that's sort of related to the general benefits of AI. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows, AI saves you time.
Yeah.
It can help to optimize keywords in. So if you're writing things manually on Amazon now, I think you're just doing
Yeah.
it wrong.
Yeah.
But then there's extra things that a tool like Percy can bring, which you can't get if you're using a general AI like
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT or I don't know what, like Bing or something like that.
Exactly.
So there's some like baked in benefits that we built into Percy starting early on. Keyword optimization can sort of be done okay by a general tool, but
Mhm.
if you have like a specialized model that's calling it in the right way and that's checking that keywords are in the right spot, you're going to get better results. Um, uh, Finding the keywords is obviously huge. I think the biggest thing that we hear from our own users is the restricted keywords that Percy catches. So
Mhm.
that's an example of like a really um, custom, unique thing that like that would never be a general AI would never even be aware of this stuff. But if you put the wrong kind of words in your listing, you
Yeah.
can get taken down by Amazon algorithms tomorrow, or in 3 months. You might not know until it happens that you've
On
actually,
1 hour sometimes.
sometimes, yeah. So one of the things that Percy does, for instance, is we have a specialized model that is trained away from all of those restricted keywords. In addition to that, we also scan every listing that Percy creates for anything that could cause a problem. And then there's this big alert that pops up that says, hey, there's something in this listing that we know Amazon watches
Danger.
for. Danger, exactly. Check these, and then you can rewrite them and sort of filter them out. There's even simpler stuff like one of the things that we actually had a real problem with early on was simple things like the lengths of your bullets and the
Mm.
lengths of your title. Um, General AI tools are not they're not really trained well to hit specific lengths of sentences or text. I mean, their goal is just to give you the next word that it thinks makes the most sense. So there's a lot of hidden secret mechanisms in Percy, for instance, that check things like formatting of your title and of your bullets to make sure that the lengths are correct and that there's no symbols or weird characters in there. That can also cause problems. So for instance, early on, sometimes we'd have folks who were using Percy would say, "Hey, this bullet's a little too short, or this title's a little too long," and so we built feedback into the tool itself so that you'll never get wrong outputs like that. And that goes for French, all the other languages as well, which general tools aren't really optimized for.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that one is also super important because I see this mistake a ton of times as well. Like people do keyword research and they identify certain terminologies or certain sometimes branded terms, but they're not easy to identify because sometimes the branded terms are somehow keywords that will define a product. Like they did very smart branding when these other brands when they launched their brand.
Hmm.
And then sometimes I also find this very being a tricky thing, especially with supplements and things that have a lot of restricted keywords. So if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
know about all these terminologies and all of that, like yeah, if you don't use a tool such as this, for sure you're gonna get flagged. Your listeners gonna be surprised. You have to appeal it. It's a huge nightmare. So I actually didn't know Percy had that. So that's super nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah. People really love that. It's funny that you were mentioning sort of the benefits of tools like this. I think there is the obvious thing that you save a lot of time. So if you are an expert, you probably are too important to be spending 2 hours doing this all yourself. Um, and so a lot of those folks have teams of VAs that they've given procedures to do this stuff. Um, so there's this time saving thing, but I've noticed for a lot of folks who maybe they're not even that busy or they're not a huge company, but they might just not know all the rules or they
Mm,
don't know really what they don't know what they don't know. So with
exactly.
keyword research, for instance, if there's a branded term that's in their keyword list, or if there's foreign languages or relevant keywords, they just don't even know to filter those things out. And so I think one of the benefits of a tool like this is even if you don't know everything that you should be doing, Percy's going to do it for you anyway, which is
Good.
nice.
Nice. Now, another thing I bet you get a lot this question is how you deal with things such as trademark issues and avoid copying other listings and things like that, where people is concerned about where this text or these ideas come in terms of the copy. Can you elaborate on that? Because I know, because I've been playing with the tool, it's always unique, but it's always good to explain this to the listeners and watchers, like how you make sure with Percy that every single listing is unique to avoid any issues with Amazon, for example, that you don't copy a
Yeah,
title,
yeah,
bullet point, or something. Yeah.
yep. I think there's two parts to that answer. The first one is a trade or an IP infringement that could come from if you're using, you might not have even copied another listing or something like that, but if you put another brand name into your listing, that could get flagged as an IP infringement. Perci watches for all these, usually that comes in keywords. So people will do an ASIN search and they'll grab all their competitors and they'll get all those keywords from those listings, and then they have some keywords that come through that have like Nike running shoes or whatever it is, and then they're surprised when they get flagged. So Perci catches all of those possible trademark brands in your listing, and they'll take all those out when you do keyword research. The second part that I think you're mainly talking about is the idea of copying listings. Some people will use an AI tool to write a listing, and they think, oh, well, this must have pulled some text from other listings on Amazon. Otherwise, how could it write such a good, smart, convincing, persuasive listing?
Exactly.
Perci, and I think this is true for most other AI tools. I don't know actually what's under the hood for other tools in the space, but Perci does not use other listings as writing ammunition.
I
So
see.
the only thing that Perci does, just like if you were, writing, if you hired someone from some VA to do your listing, if they copied text from another listing, you'd fire them immediately if you knew about it. Perci only uses the information that you give it to create the text itself. So when you go into Perci, we need the name of your product. We need any product details that you have. And that doesn't need to be a lot, but the more you give Perci, the better. And then we use keywords to inform, what's this bullet going to be about, that sort of thing. So there's no like going onto Amazon and surfing around competitor listings and stealing the text from their bullets or anything like that. What that means is you're always going to get a unique listing. So even if you have the same product listing information, if you hit generate twice, you're going to get two different kinds of listings. And it also means you're never gonna be in danger of having your listing suppressed. So the danger there is, if let's say that you did put a listing up and you copied a competitor's bullets word for word, Amazon would sniff that out right away and you'd be suppressed off the search. Amazon would know that other listing was there first. You just copied it, out you go. So that's one of the things you never want to have that happen. And so because we're not using any of the listings in our generation algorithms, we're safe. You're safe.
Good. And another thing I also like about the tool, which you could also briefly mention, that is how you make sure that the list is not only optimized in terms of copy, that is very well written and all of that, but also on the placement of the keywords, like making sure the exact match of the keywords is there. You can even do reference to which keywords are covered and which are not, because I think it's not only about doing the copy, but make sure the copy is adapted to how Amazon reads the listing and how you do proper SEO. So can you also briefly mention like how you use AI for that, basically, so people can be aware of that?
There's two parts to this answer as well. So the first part is, you have a whole list of keywords, and we get this question a lot. The first part is, where do we put the different keywords that we have? So you might have 20, 25 keywords. Which of those keywords should go in your title, and how many? How many should go in each bullet? How many should go in your description? There's a few different ways that Perci makes that work smartly. We have a thing called keyword density that we added about 2 months ago that lets you tune up and down how many keywords you want in each section. So if you really want to stuff them, no judgment here, you can up the amount of keywords. You could put 4 keyword phrases in your title. You could put 3 in each bullet, 4 in each bullet if you want to. Or if you want to be really spare and opt on the side of readability, you can crank the density down. So you might only have 1 or 2 exact phrases in your title. Maybe you only have 1 keyword per bullet, and you're going to get more readable, conversion friendly listings that way. So there's no right or wrong to it. It's just up to you. But Perci automatically will sort your keywords by priority. If you put them in yourself, it'll sort by the order that you enter your keywords. If you use the keyword wizard tool, it will sort by your SEO strategy. So the most important keywords by your own strategy that you've chosen will be the ones in your title. The next ones will go into bullet 1, 2, 3, and so on. The second part to this, sorry, this is a long answer.
No, I love it. Thank you.
The second part to this is how do keywords get into each part. So for instance, in a title, for instance, you want to have your main keyword as close to the front of the title as possible. The most, let's say we're doing Bluetooth headphones, or maybe it's Bluetooth exercise headphones. You want to make sure that exact phrase, Bluetooth exercise headphones, is right after your brand, for instance. Like, for instance, there's a mobile cutoff at like 75, 80 characters. You definitely don't want to have anything after that. So there's a bit of a hierarchy and art to how you optimize keywords into each part, into your bullets, into your description. Not to mention the back-end keywords. That's a whole other kettle of fish. But we train our model to get the keywords in the right way. The biggest one is exact phrase match. So there's a couple of different ways that keywords can be optimized in. There's exact phrase match, which means each word in the exact order. And then there's broad match, which is any order of those words in that bullet or in that title. And that's sort of a secondary concern. Perci focuses on exact phrase match.
Very good. Yeah, I think that is super important because the keyword stuffing. I know what you mean. When we do audits, man, it's crazy the listings you come across. Like they just ramp everything on the title, nothing makes sense, and they think they're doing a good job. But the key of a good copy or a good listing is actually having a very beautiful listing to read and understand, combined with the right keywords on the right location on the title, bullet points, and all that. And the fact that you can combine this, that takes hours and hours in a few seconds, game changer. So thank you for explaining that. Now tell me, so we can start jump into this topic as well, so we can start going towards the closure of today's episode, is regarding the AI space. I mean, we've seen so many also changes lately, like in terms of not only tools, but things in economically, in terms of some of the big organizations that have been doing some big changes overall. So what is your take? Like, where do you think AI is heading in the next maybe 12 months in 2024? Or what is some of your predictions when it comes to that?
I haven't gotten that question in a few months, actually. It's an interesting question. And I'll start by saying anyone who really says they know what's coming is lying. It's so hard to know how things are going to shake out. I do think there's some broad movements that you can see shaping now. For instance, with large language models. So these are the AI models that we're primarily concerned with at Perci. OpenAI has had a real head start over everyone else. I think that space is going to commoditize a little bit. There could be new models like GPT 4.5 or 5 or something that come out. You never know. But I think generally, the sense is that the way these language models are trained and work now, there's not a whole ton of gains that are left that are economical to get. So OpenAI has probably start to hit the wall of where they can take the current state of the art. You can't just keep pumping more money in and getting better models out, because it's just going to be too much money for each word. So as that's happening, there's some open space competitors that are coming up, like Mistral. Google's just released Gemini. Not sure to be seen how competitive that really is, but I think pretty quickly we're going to see that language models are not just one company's offering anymore. It's going to be a really competitive area. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. At the same time, I think images, and they call it multimodal models. So the idea that you can show a video or an image to a model and it can tell you about it, or it can explain something. So that's going to get a lot better. I think it's still pretty early days for that stuff. likewise, the other direction where you might say, give me this is sort of in some senses a few years old. Show me a picture of this. Show me a picture of this inflatable hot tub on a rooftop at a party with a bunch of people hanging out and drinking during the day, and then it will take your product picture and then rework it so that it's now a lifestyle picture, for instance. I think that stuff will be getting a lot better pretty soon. There's just some more pipes to connect, some APIs that need to get better for that stuff to be really usable. But I think right now, I'd say the image stuff is still pretty teenage, maybe I could say. Like, there's still a lot of progress that we're going to make there. Whereas I think the language stuff is really developed and mature. The image and video is going to still be really, in a year, I think everyone's going to still be talking about, wow, this new thing just came out. It's so different. We've never seen anything like it. So that's going to be exciting. For instance, we're looking at, pretty soon, we're going to start looking at image generation for galleries, as well as creating A+ images, because like I mentioned, we make A+ text, but a lot of folks, they just bake the text right into their images, for instance, so they can have full control of the design. I think it's going to give us a lot more ability to do that as well. So pretty soon, design's gonna get really interesting.
Yeah, looking forward. Can't wait. I think every single month something changes in the AI space. So I'm very excited to see what happens in 2024, because as more money keeps getting pumped into the space and all these titans like Google and Microsoft keeps trying to get the #1 spot when it comes to AI, I'm sure a lot of innovations coming up. And who knows, maybe next year you could just press a button and Google launches your Amazon store for you.
It might be. Gosh, it's even for someone like me. I mean, I'm an AI software founder, and I can't keep up with all of the week-to-week developments that happen. I think people ask me, "Oh, how do I keep up with the latest stuff?" And I usually say,
there's no chance.
Don't worry about it." A lot of this stuff is kind of, there's plenty of people on social media who they make their living trying to convince you that you need to listen to every.
The gurus, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun to keep up with that stuff, but I think it's if you're not crazy about this stuff, it's much easier and more practical. Wait a couple of months, see if whatever they're talking about is still in the news or still making people excited, and then it's worth looking into. But the good news is, if you're an Amazon seller, you're probably already using ChatGPT or something like that, and you're probably getting great use out of that. I don't think you need to necessarily be an expert on every technology yourself. There's going to be more tools like Perci that cater the new technology to whatever you need it to do. So the great thing about these APIs is that it makes the use case specific tools a lot faster. So there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming for Amazon sellers and just general e-commerce in the next couple of years,
Awesome.
I think.
Very good. Thank you so much, Britton. So now to conclude with the episode, I would like to, share with us a little bit about how people can get in contact with you, because I'm sure now people may have a little bit more questions about Perci, or maybe they want to give it a try. And I know you have some promotion there you also are bringing as a surprise. So can you tell us a little bit about those both things? Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. So the first thing to do, if you want to try Perci, go to perci.ai. Signing up is free. We don't have a free trial that you like. When you sign up, there won't be any credits in your account. But my email is Britton, Britton at perci.ai, perci.ai. When you sign up, shoot me an email and just say, "Hey, I signed up. I heard you on the Commerce Lab. I'd love to try it, and I'll put some free credits into your account." I love chatting to people who are trying the tool. The second thing is go on and sign up, and when you upgrade, we've got a 10% discount. Put Ecomcy 10 into the payment form, and you get 10% off anything in Perci, ECOMCY 10 to get your
Awesome.
special discount.
Thank you so much, Britton. So pleasure to have you as always on the show. And I can't wait. Hopefully next year I can have you again on the show. Maybe, it's not gonna be us speaking, it's gonna be our avatars drawn by AI. So
Yeah. We'll talk using AI, and then everyone will use AI to create notes, podcast notes.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure to put everything down in the description. And for now, yeah, I appreciate your time, man. So looking forward to see your future events. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah, of
man.
course. Oh, Enzo, nice chatting to you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. Bye bye.